Right now I'm delighted to be joined by Karen Bennett, who is Sales and Marketing Director of Shawbrook Bank. And Karen, we're here at your very impressive offices in Brentwood. It would be a good time to kind of get an overview of the scale of the Shawbrook Bank operation.
The Shawbrook Bank operation as a whole actually has over 600 staff working at it. We're based over the Brentwood site. We also have a London office. We have offices all around the country, so Glasgow, Dorking, Wisbech and various other places around the country. The commercial mortgages division specifically has around 86 employees full-time, just focused on servicing our commercial mortgage customers.
Now, you started in 2011, so you've seen a massive growth since then, haven't you?
We have. We started with 25 people back in 2011, so it's been a huge growth over the last 5 years, and we're very, very committed to growing in the future as well. So over the next 4 or 5 years, we see lots of opportunity for growth. Where we tend to focus is looking for niche areas where our specialist and personal type of underwriting can add real value. So areas that are perhaps underserved by the high street, or where they do involve a more intensive underwrite, so you have to really lift the lid and understand that transaction to be able to get comfortable with it. So that's really where we look to focus and build and grow.
Now, you're not direct to consumer, are you? You prefer customers to come to you via a mortgage broker. What do you feel are the benefits of that process?
Well, within the commercial division, we do deal with mortgage brokers, and the benefits of that process really is that you get independent financial advice. You get someone who's on your side looking at what's the best option for you. They research the market, they tell you what products are available, but they also then, once you have selected a lender to go ahead with, they help you on that journey. Every lender's different, they've got different requirements and different questions that they ask, and they will help you the whole way through that process. So they'll instruct the valuation for you, they'll talk through all of the mortgage literature with you, talk through the costs, the fees and the charges, so you understand exactly what you're signing yourself up for. They'll also get involved at the legal process as well, trying to dispel some of the terminology and the jargon that exists in the lawyer's elements, so that you can be really focused on getting that transaction over the finish line and completed.
Having said that, you are happy to have direct contact with property investors as well, aren't you? Not only during the transaction if they've got one going through, but you're also happy to kind of take general inquiries about if you've got suitable products for what they've got in mind.
Yes, of course. It's very important to us that we're accessible for customers, whether that be new potential customers or existing customers going through a transaction. Our personal service is all around getting to understand the customer. So for us, having that initial contact with them when they're just trying to search the market and see what's available, or perhaps they've got a few extra questions that they want to verify, we're more than happy to speak to them.
Now, what I love about Shawbrook is that you don't have the computer says no. One of the things that you've really invested in is having the teams that can actually do a personal underwrite. And, you know, obviously people may have very complex projects. They may have something really unusual. You're interested to hear from them, aren't you?
Very much so. That's really one of our key USPs, our people, and trying to work with our customers to understand what is it that they want to achieve. And how can our finance help them? So we're very, very focused on speaking to those customers, understanding what's there, and making sure that we're offering the right types of products for those customers to fit those needs. We have various different services, functions that we can offer. So we have some credit relationship managers. So if a case is particularly complex, we can choose to work with them and send that credit relationship manager out earlier in the process. So go meet that customer with their mortgage broker, talk through that transaction and try and see the best way to position that. Equally, they can work with us and that mortgage broker over the phone. Whichever kind of works best for that individual, we'll work with them to try and offer the best for them.
Now, you've always sort of operated and had an appetite for limited company mortgages. Obviously, I can imagine that you're seeing a lot more interest in that side of things. Could you give us a little bit of an overview of your limited company range?
Yeah, since the very beginning, we've offered limited company applications, or we've had no challenge with those. And the honest answer is we treat those as fairly vanilla, run-of-the-mill transactions. So there isn't a scenario that we haven't seen yet. We've seen them all. So we would encourage that you speak to us on that basis. We don't have dual pricing for limited companies, which is something that other lenders have in the market. It is our set pricing scheme, all available on our website. And what we really try to do is try to understand that customer's model, and if their model is that they have a limited company or an SPV, how is that set up? What's the background behind that? How are they raising that deposit? Has that come from directors' loans or anything on that basis? Really get under the skin of it, and then we'll be able to support them with that transaction. As we understand more about it, we'll let them know what they have to do to be able to kind of move forward with that transaction.
And you're also actually very well known for your bridging products as well. Do you feel that landlords should really look more to bridging, because in the case of Shawbrook, you would also help them find the exit for that bridging, wouldn't you? And I think it's such a useful tool for property investors, and I think it's quite sort of underutilised.
Yeah, I mean, the bridging market is one that has grown, and certainly for ourselves, when we entered into that market, it was around serving property professionals, so people who specialise in property. Now, they may buy a project because they want to do some work to that and trade it on, or they may well choose to buy a project, do some work to it, add some value to it, and then choose to hold it on an investment basis. Either way of those, for us, again, it always comes back to the same core thing. We want to understand that customer, we want to understand their model, and then we want to make sure that we have a product set that does support them. Now, the bridging market as a whole has grown a lot over the last 4 or 5 years, but there still is a lot of things that a customer needs to consider when looking at bridging finance. If you are doing a refurbishment project, one of the things you really need to focus on is, does that rate revert if you run over the end of your term? What penalties come into play if you run over the end of that term? Because as we all know, projects can be managed very, very tightly, and planning applications can take slightly longer than needed. Builders can take longer to deliver what they said they were going to in timescales. Things happen, and it's important that you really look at the terms and conditions with that lender to make sure you understand. With Shawbrook, we don't have reversionary rates. We work really closely and manage with the customer the journey of that refurbishment, so that we're working together and we've got a plan, and they feel very much supported the whole way through, rather than it just be a transitional loan. That support that we offer is something that's very important to us.
Yes, and I know that you're looking to build long-term relationships with investors, and lots of repeat business, and because that helps you understand their business better, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The more we can understand a business, essentially investors are always looking to grow, and that's the key differential really with that type of customer. So for us, it's understanding what they're trying to achieve and seeing where we can support them on that journey. So we might start off with a short-term loan on the basis of just a refurbishment. They come to the end of it and they can actually come back to us for the term loan, as you discussed before. Yeah. Equally, they may well now choose that they've got a semi-commercial investment property that they're wanting to refinance, to take some equity out of, to move on to their next. And by understanding their model, by understanding their portfolio, we can try and help them achieve their growth desires, really, by having the right finance partner.
Absolutely. And just to finish, Karen, I think, one of the reasons that you're sat here and that you're a great supporter of Property Tribes is that you're very committed to landlord education, and Shawbrook have got a new YouTube channel where you'll see lots of clips with educational snippets of information. But really, there's lots of ways that people can learn via Shawbrook, your reports. Stephen's often out at events speaking. You really do want to engage with landlords on the educational front, don't you?
Yeah, essentially our business is built around our customers. So we understand that the property investor are thirsty for knowledge. There's lots of rumours and myths, and the market changes all the time, and there's a need for solid information to be provided, and we do feel responsible for providing some of that information. It's important for us to be able to give that support to our customers. So yeah, we do spend a lot of time and we put a lot of effort into making sure that we can dispel some of the myths that are out there, provide some extra support, helpful guides to guide you through certain things. Recently we did a HMO report, for an example, just that goes into trying to dispel some of the rumours around how a property is valued, whether you can buy a property, turn it into a HMO, and then straight away get money out on an investment value basis. So we've tried to go into all of these areas, and we'll continue to try and find opportunities where we can support the investor market, because for us, making that as strong as possible obviously gives us sustainability for the future as well.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for your contribution here today on Property Tribe. It's been great speaking to you. And as always, thanks to Shawbrook for their support of our community as well. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, our absolute pleasure. Thank you.